The intercom buzzed just as I was wrapping up my morning client calls. "Ms. Wilkinson, your parents are here to see you." My coffee mug froze halfway to my lips. 10 years of silence, and now they show up at my office? I smoothed my blazer, clicked my recorder app, and took a deep breath. "Send them in." I'm Solstice, and the last time I saw my parents, they were throwing my belongings onto their perfectly manicured lawn while the neighbors pretended not to watch. The door opened. Mother swept in first, dressed in Chanel and pearls like she was heading to a country club luncheon. Father followed, his presence filling the room with that suffocating authority I remembered too well. Neither had aged as much as I'd imagined they would. "Darling," Mother said, voice trembling with practiced emotion, "you look successful." I didn't stand. "What do you want?" Father cleared his throat. "It's about Wayne." Of course it was. Golden boy Wayne, who could do no wrong. Wayne, who'd stolen my college fund and convinced them I was the thief. Wayne, who'd always been the son their world revolved around. "He's in trouble," Mother said, perching on the edge of my visitor's chair. "Real trouble. The SEC is investigating his company. They're saying terrible things about fraud and misappropriated funds." "And?" I kept my voice neutral, professional, the same tone I used with difficult clients. "Oh, and you're the best crisis manager in New York," Father said, as if the words tasted bitter. "Your brother needs your expertise, your connections." I leaned back in my chair. "So after 10 years of pretending I don't exist, you want me to save Wayne from consequences?" "Family helps family," Mother snapped, mask slipping. "Or have you forgotten everything we gave you?" "Gave me?" I laughed. "You mean before or after you told everyone I embezzled from the family trust? Before or after you blacklisted me from every PR firm in Boston?" Father slammed his hand on my desk. "That's ancient history. Your brother is facing prison. Real prison, Solstice. Think about what that would do to this family's reputation." "The family that disowned me? That family's reputation?" Mother's eyes narrowed. "We can make this worth your while. Name your price." "Get out." "Solstice, please." I said get out. I stood, finger hovering over the intercom. "Security will escort you if necessary." Father's face turned that dangerous shade of purple I remembered from childhood. "You ungrateful little—" "Careful, Father. My office records all visits. For security purposes, of course." They stood, Mother clutching her designer bag like a shield. At the door, she turned back. Her perfectly lined lips curved into a smile that chilled me to the bone. "Io, if you don't help," she whispered, "everything you've built will burn. We still have friends in high places, darling. Remember that." The door clicked shut behind them. I waited 30 seconds, then grabbed my phone. "Daisy, they just left." "Yes, exactly as we predicted." I pulled up the recording app, checking that it captured everything. "Tell Lucy it's time. They're going to try to destroy me again." I walked to my window, watching my parents climb into their Mercedes 17 floors below. They looked so small from up here, like insects scurrying across the sidewalk. "No," I told Daisy. "I'm not worried. Let them try. I've spent 10 years preparing for this moment." I smiled, remembering every document I'd gathered, every secret I'd uncovered, every witness I'd found. They have no idea what's coming. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You should have helped your brother. Bad things happen to ungrateful daughters." I screenshot the threat and forwarded it to Lucy. Then I opened my bottom drawer and pulled out a thick file labeled Family Matters. Inside was a decade of carefully collected evidence: photos, emails, bank statements, testimonies. Everything I needed to burn the Wilkinson empire to the ground. They thought they were starting a war. They didn't realize they were walking into one I'd been quietly winning for years. "You were 12 when it started," Daisy said, pouring more wine. "Tell me again." I stared at the Manhattan skyline from my apartment balcony. The memory still burned, even now. It was after I won the school debate championship. Wayne had lost the week before. "And?" "Mother said I must have cheated. that no one could beat her precious Wayne fairly. She made me forfeit the trophy. Daisy's phone buzzed. She checked it, then showed me the screen. An industry gossip blog had just posted, "Rising PR star accused of manipulating client data." "Right on schedule," I said. "They're moving faster than I expected." My own phone lit up with a text from Therese. "What the hell, Saul? My investors are freaking out. Someone's saying you faked my app's download numbers?" "Call him," Daisy urged. "He needs to hear your voice." I dialed. Tyrese answered on the first ring. "Tell me this isn't true." "It's not. My family's retaliating because I wouldn't help my brother dodge fraud charges. They're trying to destroy my credibility." Silence. Then, "Prove it. Check your email in 5 minutes. I'm sending you recording of their visit today, plus documentation of their previous attempts to sabotage me. They did this before, when they first cut me off." Nah, Jesus, Saul. Why didn't you tell me your family was this toxic? Would you have believed me? More silence. "No, probably not. They seem so perfect on paper." That's how they survive. Image is everything. My phone beeped. 2 client cancellation emails in rapid succession. And they're very, very good at destroying people. After hanging up, Daisy grabbed her laptop. "We need to call Lucy. If they're moving this fast, they must have been planning this for weeks. They didn't just show up today hoping you'd help." "They never hoped. They knew I'd refuse." I remembered Mother's threat. This was their plan all along. Make me look uncooperative, then paint me as unstable and vindictive. "Like they did when you were 22? I nodded. The memories flooded back. Mother telling relatives I was mentally ill. Father spreading rumors I'd stolen from his office. Wayne convincing my first employer I was unstable. Within months, I'd been completely isolated, unemployable in Boston. Daisy's laptop crashed to the floor. "Someone's in my system. They're trying to access my files." "Shut it down." "Already did." She looked pale. "They're after our evidence. They know we have something." My phone rang. Lucy's name flashed on screen. "They're moving," she said without preamble. 3 more clients just contacted me about canceling contracts. Someone's feeding them very specific lies about your methods." "Wayne?" "No. The intel suggests it's coming from Oakley's firm." I closed my eyes. Oakley, Father's old friend who'd given Wayne his first job. Of course. "What's our timeline?" I asked. "At this rate, you'll be radioactive in the industry by Friday unless we strike back. Then it's time." I opened my laptop, pulling up a folder I'd hoped never to use. "Remember that video of Wayne threatening those Series A investors? The one where he admits to cooking the books? That's just the beginning. Call Anthony, tell him to prepare the rest of the files." Daisy touched my arm. "Are you sure? Once we do this, they're trying to burn everything I've built. Again." My voice hardened. "But this time, I'm ready. This time, I have proof." My phone lit up with another text. "Wayne. Should have played nice, sis. Dad's calling in every favor he has. By next week, you won't be able to get a job managing a McDonald's." I showed Daisy the message. She whistled. "They really have no idea, do they?" "No." I forwarded the threat to Lucy, then opened my contact list. "They don't know about the offshore accounts I found, or Father's secret family, or Mother's fake medical credentials. Or Harmony," Daisy whispered. "Or Harmony." I started dialing numbers. Time to remind them why you don't back a wounded animal into a corner, especially one that's been planning her escape for 10 years. The city lights twinkled below, a constellation of possibilities. By morning, the war would begin in earnest. And this time, I had nothing left to lose. The headlines hit like artillery fire at dawn. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications. PR executive accused of data manipulation. Multiple clients drop rising star over ethics concerns. Wayne, my sister's betrayal crushed me. I watched Wayne's press conference from my office, jaw clenched. He'd perfected that wounded look. Designer suit slightly rumpled, eyes tired but dignified. "As my sister's shocking betrayal comes to light," he said, voice catching perfectly, I have to wonder if her accusations against me were just projection of her own misdeeds. Daisy burst through my door. They're everywhere. Twitter, LinkedIn, industry forums, hundreds of anonymous accounts spreading lies about you. My email pinged. Another client termination. They've been planning this for months, I said, scrolling through the coordinated attacks. Look at these testimonials. They're all connected to Oakley's firm. My personal phone started ringing. Unknown numbers, journalists, old colleagues. Then a text from Mother. Not too late to help Wayne. Make this right, and maybe we can fix your reputation. I blocked her number. Saul! Daisy's voice sharpened. Someone just posted your home address online. My doorman called seconds later. Ms. Wilkinson, there are reporters in the lobby. Should I call the police? Yes. And implement total lockdown protocol. Daisy's fingers flew across her keyboard. Found it. The doxing came from an IP address linked to... Wait! She looked up. It's from Wayne's office. I smiled. Record that. Every illegal move they make is another nail in their coffin. My screen lit up with a video call from Tyrese. His face was grim. 3 major investors just pulled out. They're saying you manipulated our entire marketing strategy. I'm sending you proof right now that Wayne's team is behind these attacks. Check your email. Already saw it. That's why I'm calling. He leaned forward. I'm with you. Whatever you need. These tactics, they're exactly what Wayne tried on me 2 years ago when I wouldn't sell him my startup. You never told me that. Because he threatened my family. But I'm done being scared of him. After hanging up, I pulled up a secure folder and clicked play. The video was grainy but clear enough. Wayne in his office, screaming at a group of terrified investors. If you pull out now, I'll destroy you. You think you know powerful people? My father owns half this city's judges. Daisy watched over my shoulder. When did you get this? Anthony's been collecting footage for years. This is just a taste. I forwarded the clip to Lucy. Time to show Wayne what real evidence looks like. My phone rang. Wayne. What do you want? I answered. Having fun yet, sis? He sounded smug. Dad's calling in 20 years of favors. By tomorrow you'll be trending for all the wrong reasons. Interesting strategy. Almost as interesting as that meeting you had with the Peterson group last year. Silence. You know, the one where you admitted to falsifying your Series B reports? Anthony got great audio that day. You're bluffing. Remember what you said about Dad's offshore accounts? The ones funding your legitimate startups? I examined my nails. Amazing what people reveal when they think no one's watching. You wouldn't dare. Try me. I've spent 10 years documenting every crime, every threat, every lie. You really think I didn't have a plan for this? You'll burn with us, he hissed. Everything you've built. I built it all twice. Once before you destroyed it, once after. I can do it again. I leaned back. Question is, can you? He hung up. Daisy looked worried. They'll escalate now. Good. I opened my laptop, pulling up a folder marked Nuclear Option. Because I'm done playing defense. My office door opened. Lucy walked in, carrying a thick folder. It's ready. All the documentation, witness statements, everything. One word from you, and we file. I stared at the city beyond my window, at the empire my family thought they could tear down. They never understood. When you've already lost everything once, you learn to build with fireproof materials. Do it, I said. Release everything. The war they started was about to become the war they couldn't win. Anthony's office was exactly what you'd expect from a private investigator. Sparse, functional, and deliberately unmemorable. He pulled out a thick file as I sat down. 10 years of surveillance, he said, spreading photos across his desk. Your brother's not as careful as he thinks. The images told a story. Wayne at private meetings, handling suspicious packages, arguing with scared-looking investors. One photo showed him with father outside a bank in the Cayman Islands. Remember when you first hired me? Anthony asked. Hard to forget. I overheard Wayne bragging about mother's clinic funding his first startup. With embezzled Medicare money? He tapped another photo. That's what started this whole thing. But we found so much more. My phone buzzed. Daisy calling. "You need to see this," she said without preamble. "I found a hidden trust fund. Your father created it 15 years ago, but it's only in Wayne's name. That's not unusual. He always favored Wayne. No, you don't understand. This money came from your grandparents' estate, the one that was supposed to be split equally between all the beneficiaries." I sat straighter. "How much?" 12 million. And there's more. The trust is managed by a shell company in Aruba. I found travel records showing your father flying there every few months for years." Anthony's head snapped up. "Aruba? What years?" 1999 to 2005. "Why?" He pulled out another file, this one marked personal. Inside were more photos. Father with a striking woman who wasn't mother. They looked intimate, comfortable. "Maria Rose," Anthony said quietly. "I tracked her down years ago. She worked at the bank that managed the trust." My hands shook as I picked up a photo. The woman was beautiful, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. Something about her face seemed familiar. "She died in 2010, Anthony continued, "but she left behind 2 children, her son," he paused, "and her daughter, Harmony." My phone pinged with a message from Daisy. "Found Harmony Rose. She's 21. Look at her photo." The image loaded. I nearly dropped my phone. She had father's eyes. My eyes. "She's my sister," I whispered. Anthony nodded. "Half-sister, and my sister too." He met my gaze. "That's why I took your case 10 years ago. I knew who you were, who your father was." The room spun. "Does she know?" "About you?" "No. About Virgil being her father?" "Yes. Maria told her before she died." He leaned forward. "Harmony's had it rough. Your father paid for her silence, but he never acknowledged her, never helped when Maria got sick." My phone buzzed again. Wayne had posted another statement. "As more evidence of my sister's deceptions comes to light, I'm grateful for our parents' unwavering support." I looked at Anthony. Would Harmony be willing to talk? She's been waiting for someone to listen. He pulled out a business card with a number. "She works at a bookstore in Brooklyn. Smart kid. Reminds me of you." I dialed the number with trembling fingers. A young voice answered. "Hello? Harmony, this is Solstice Wilkinson. I think we need to talk." Silence. Then, "I wondered if you'd ever find out about me. Can we meet?" "Why now?" I looked at the photos spread across Anthony's desk, a decade of secrets and lies. "Because our father is about to learn that karma comes for everyone, and you deserve to be part of that conversation." She agreed to meet at a quiet cafe the next day. After hanging up, I turned to Anthony. "Thank you for everything. Don't thank me yet." He handed me one final photo. "This was taken last week. Your father leaving Maria's old bank in Aruba. Whatever he's hiding there, it's big enough to risk exposure for." My phone lit up with a text from Daisy. "Holy shit! You're not going to believe what I just found in those bank records." I looked at Anthony. "Ready to help me take down our father?" He smiled grimly. "Been ready for 20 years. Outside, the city hummed with afternoon traffic. Somewhere in Brooklyn, my sister was probably wondering about me too. And in their mansion, my parents had no idea their perfect facade was about to shatter. I dialed Lucy. "Set up the press conference. It's time everyone met the real Wilkinson family." Harmony looked exactly like the photos, but they hadn't captured her nervousness. She sat across from me in the cafe, fidgeting with her coffee cup. "I used to walk by your office building sometimes," she said, "wondering if I should come up." "Why didn't you?" "Fear, I guess, that you'd be like him." She met my eyes. Cold, dismissive. "I know exactly what you mean." I pulled out my phone, showing her a photo of father at her mother's bank. "He's still hiding things there. Mom tried to make him do right by me before she died." Harmony's voice hardened. "He sent a lawyer with a check and a non-disclosure agreement instead." My phone buzzed. "Tyrese. Turn on CNBC, he said when I answered. "Wayne's doing another interview." I gestured to the cafe's TV. The barista changed the channel. There was Wayne, perfectly composed in an expensive suit. These accusations are clearly a desperate attempt by my sister to deflect from her own misconduct. He was saying, "Our family has always stood for integrity." Harmony laughed bitterly. Integrity? He's just like father. I studied her face. Would you be willing to tell your story, publicly? She gripped her cup tighter. They'll try to destroy me too. Not this time. I showed her the evidence file on my phone. We have proof of everything. Bank records, photos, witness statements. They can't hide anymore. I'm scared, she whispered. Me too. But I'm more scared of letting them hurt anyone else. My phone lit up with a text from Daisy. Court documents just leaked. Your countersuit is public. Seconds later, Anthony sent a message. Press is gathering outside Wayne's office. They have the fraud allegations. I looked at Harmony. It's starting. Are you with me? She took a deep breath, then nodded. What do you need me to do? Just tell the truth. Anthony will be there too. We left the cafe as my phone exploded with notifications. The story was breaking across all platforms. Breaking, Wilkinson Air faces multiple fraud charges. PR, executive files. Explosive, countersuit against family. Sources claim years of financial misconduct. Tyrese called again. They're trying to get to my board members. Your father's threatening to tank our stock. Check your email. I just sent proof he tried the same thing with 3 other companies. The SEC will be very interested. Already forwarded it to them. He paused. You're trending on Twitter. Good or bad? Both. But the tide's turning. People are starting to question Wayne's story. Lucy texted. Press conference set for 3 p.m. Bringing the full dossier. I turned to Harmony as we reached my office building. Last chance to back out. She straightened her shoulders. No, I want them to see me, to know they couldn't bury all their secrets. Inside, Daisy was waiting with a stack of documents. Your mother's on every morning show, playing the victim. But look what just came in. She showed us an email from Mother's Clinic. Proof of Medicare fraud dating back years, all tied to Wayne's first company. Perfect timing, I said, just as my office phone rang. Solstice! Father's voice was deadly quiet. Stop this now. Whatever you think you're proving. Is this call being recorded? I interrupted. What? Because if it is, I'd love you to explain why you're calling. Is it about Wayne's fraud, Mother's Clinic, or your secret family in Aruba? Silence. By the way, I added, Harmony says hello. The line went dead. Harmony was shaking, but her eyes were fierce. He always hangs up when he's scared. I know. I checked the time. Ready to tell the world who you are? She nodded as Anthony arrived, carrying more files. The press is waiting, he said. And Wayne's lawyer just quit. I gathered my notes for the conference, remembering every dismissal, every lie, every cruel word they'd ever thrown at me, at Harmony, at anyone who threatened their perfect image. Let's go, I said. It's time everyone saw behind the masks. We walked toward the conference room, toward the cameras and questions and truth. Behind us, a decade of silence crumbled. Ahead, justice waited. And somewhere across town, my family was about to learn what real consequences felt like. The courtroom fell silent as Wayne was led in, his designer suit replaced by a court-issued blazer. He wouldn't look at me. All rise, the bailiff called. Lucy squeezed my arm. Remember, let the evidence speak for itself. The prosecutor stood. Your Honor, we'd like to present Exhibit A, video evidence of the defendant threatening investors. The screen lit up. Wayne's face filled it, contorted with rage. Sign the papers, or I'll make sure you never work in this city again. My family owns everyone who matters. More videos followed. Wayne admitting to cooking books. Wayne bragging about bribing officials. Wayne threatening to destroy people's lives. His lawyer kept objecting, but the damage was done. The jury couldn't unsee the monster behind the mask. My phone vibrated. Daisy texting from the media room. Your mother just walked off Good Morning America. They asked about Harmony. I showed Harmony, sitting beside me. She gripped my hand. The prosecutor called her next. Please state your name for the record. Harmony Rose. Her voice was steady. Daughter of Maria Rose and Virgil Wilkinson. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Wayne's head snapped up. And how long has Mr. Wilkinson known about you? My entire life. He paid my mother for silence, then abandoned us when she got sick. Harmony's voice cracked. She died waiting for him to acknowledge me. Wayne's lawyer jumped up. Objection. Relevance? Goes to pattern of behavior, Your Honor, the prosecutor replied. The Wilkinsons' history of buying silence and threatening those who speak out. Overruled. Lucy nudged me. Your turn. I took the stand, facing my brother for the first time since this started. He looked smaller somehow. Ms. Wilkinson, the prosecutor began, please tell us about the financial records you discovered. Objection, Wayne's lawyer again. These documents were obtained. Legally, Lucy interrupted, standing. Through proper channels during our countersuit investigation. I held up the first document. This shows Wayne using Mother's Clinic to launder money for his startup. Medicare fraud, tax evasion, all of it. And these threats against you? Began 10 years ago, when I refused to help cover up their first fraud scheme. They destroyed my career, my reputation. So I started gathering evidence, protecting myself. Why wait so long to come forward? Because they had to learn consequences don't disappear just because you're rich enough to ignore them. The afternoon brought more witnesses, former employees, cheated investors, each one adding another crack to the Wilkinson facade. Then my phone lit up. Daisy again. Turn on your tablet, now! I did. Mother was giving an impromptu press conference outside the courthouse. These lies about our family, she started, but reporters interrupted. Did you know about Harmony Rose? What about the Medicare fraud? Did you help hide the evidence? Mother's perfect mask cracked. She stumbled over words, then fled to a waiting car. Back inside, the prosecutor played his final card. Footage of father bribing officials, recorded by Anthony years ago. Wayne crumpled in his seat. My phone buzzed. Father's number. $5 million. Walk away now. Final offer. I forwarded the message to Lucy, who showed it to the judge. Add witness tampering to the charges, the judge ordered. The verdict came faster than expected. Wayne, guilty on all counts, 7 years minimum. Outside, reporters swarmed us. Solstice! Did you plan this for 10 years? Harmony! Will you seek part of the Wilkinson fortune? What about your parents? Will they face charges? I stepped to the microphones. This isn't about revenge. It's about accountability. No one should be above consequences, no matter how wealthy or powerful they think they are. Harmony joined me. And no one should be buried just because their existence threatens someone's perfect image. My phone lit up one last time. A news alert. Breaking. Federal investigation launched into Wilkinson family financial empire. I looked at Harmony, then at Anthony waiting nearby, at Daisy filming everything, at Lucy gathering more evidence for the next phase. Ready? I asked them all. They nodded, because Wayne's verdict wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of the Wilkinson empire's fall. And this time, there would be no buying their way out of justice. Describe your relationship with your parents, the federal prosecutor asked. I sat in the witness box for the second time that month, this time for my parents' trial. The courtroom was packed, journalists, former associates, curious public. Mother and father sat stone-faced at the defense table. They disowned me when I was 22, I said, after I refused to help cover up financial irregularities at Mother's Clinic. And then, they systematically destroyed my career, told everyone I was mentally unstable, a thief, made sure I couldn't get work anywhere in Boston. Why did you start collecting evidence against them? Self-defense initially. I knew they'd try to destroy me again if I ever succeeded. I met Mother's eyes. I was right. Lucy presented the exhibits. Decades of fraud, blackmail, and corruption. Father's face grew redder with each revelation. Harmony testified next. She was stronger this time, her voice never wavering. He paid my mother $30,000 to have an abortion, she said. When she refused, he threatened to destroy her life. Then he made her sign papers giving up any right to acknowledge him as my father. And after your mother died? He sent lawyers with more money and more papers. Said if I ever told anyone, he'd make sure I regretted it. Mother's lawyer tried to object, but the evidence was overwhelming. Bank transfers, threatening letters, recorded phone calls. During a recess, Daisy showed me her laptop. Look at this. Your parents tried to transfer millions to offshore accounts last night. The feds froze everything. They're running scared, Lucy said, joining us. Their lawyer just approached me about a plea deal. My phone buzzed. A text from Wayne in prison. They're going down, aren't they? All of us are. I didn't reply. Back in session, the prosecution played their ace. Footage from Mother's clinic showing her forging medical credentials, billing Medicare for non-existent procedures. The money funded Wayne's first company, the prosecutor explained, which then funneled profits back through shell companies controlled by Virgil. Mother finally cracked. She stood up, pointing at me. You ungrateful child! After everything we did for you, Mrs. Wilkinson, the judge warned, sit down or be held in contempt. You think you've won? She shrieked. You're nothing without this family. Nothing! Guards let her out. Father wouldn't look at anyone. The verdict was devastating. Guilty on multiple counts. Mother lost her medical license. Father's assets were frozen. Their reputation, the thing they valued most, was destroyed. Outside, reporters mobbed us again. How does it feel to take down your own family? Any comments on the verdict? What happens to the Wilkinson empire now? I stepped to the microphones. This wasn't about taking down a family. This was about accountability. No one should be above the law, even parents who think they own their children's souls. Harmony stood beside me. And no one should have to hide who they are to protect someone else's lies. Later, at my apartment, Tyrese called. You did it. The tech community's completely behind you now. 3 major companies want to work with us. Us? Yeah. I'm thinking of starting a foundation. Help people stand up to corporate bullies and toxic families. Interested in partnering? Before I could answer, Daisy burst in. Your story's gone viral. Thousands of people are sharing similar experiences with family abuse and corporate corruption. You're trending worldwide. My phone lit up with a message from Anthony. Maria would be proud of both her daughters today. I looked at Harmony, curled up on my couch, reading supportive messages from strangers. At Daisy, already planning our next moves. At Lucy, organizing papers for the civil suits still to come. Tell Tyrese yes, I said. But I want to focus on helping people document and expose abuse. Give them the tools I didn't have 10 years ago. A final text came through, from Father's personal number. You've destroyed everything we built. I typed back. No, you did that yourselves. I just showed everyone the truth. Then I blocked his number for good. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars. Somewhere in a prison cell, Wayne was learning about consequences. In their mansion, my parents were facing a future without power or control. And here, in this room full of people who chose to stand for truth, I was finally, completely free. The auction sign creaked in the wind as I stood in front of my childhood home. The grand mansion looked smaller now, its perfect lawns overgrown, windows dark. You don't have to do this, Harmony said beside me. Yes, I do. I pulled out the key I'd kept all these years. Want to see where we grew up? Well, where I grew up, inside, sheets covered the furniture. Dust motes danced in sunbeams. My footsteps echoed on marble floors that once gleamed with Mother's obsessive polishing. This was my room, I said, pushing open a door. And that piano. I used to practice for hours until Mother decided Wayne needed the space for his gaming setup. Harmony touched the keys gently. A discordant note rang out. Did you ever feel safe here? No, but I felt invisible, which was almost the same thing. My phone buzzed. Tyrese. Ready for you at the foundation whenever you are. First group of survivors wants to meet their new advocate. On my way, I replied. Just finishing something. Upstairs, Father's study still smelled of leather and cigars. The wall safe stood open, emptied by federal agents. I remembered standing here at 16, discovering the first proof of his crimes. Solstice! Daisy called from downstairs. The development company is here. They're turning this place into a shelter for abuse survivors. Perfect karma. In Wayne's old room, trophies still lined the walls. Participation awards Mother had mounted like Olympic medals. I touched one, remembering how he'd laughed when they gave him my debate championship. You okay? Harmony asked. Better than okay. I pulled out my phone, opening the folder I'd carried for 10 years. Watch this. I hit delete. A decade of evidence, threats, and painful memories vanished with a tap. You don't need it anymore? No. The truth is out there now. Everyone knows who they really are. My phone lit up again. Lucy sending updates. Mother's clinic was being converted into a free medical center. Father's corporate empire had been dissolved, the assets funding restitution for their victims. Wayne was teaching business ethics classes in prison, the ultimate irony. Downstairs, Daisy was talking to reporters outside. The Foundation's first initiative will help people document and expose systematic abuse. We're calling it the Truth Project. I joined her on the front steps, where Mother had once posed for society photos. The goal isn't revenge, I told the cameras. It's prevention. No one should have to spend 10 years gathering evidence just to be believed. What about your family? A reporter called out. They made their choices. Now they're living with the consequences. I gestured to Harmony. But I found my real family along the way. People who choose truth over image, justice over power. Back inside, I walked through the grand foyer one last time. So many ghosts here. The little girl practicing piano, the teenager discovering dark secrets, the young woman being cast out. Ready? Harmony asked, holding the door. I took one last look. At Mother's perfect parlor, where she'd plotted destructions. At Father's study, where he'd built his house of lies. At the stairs, Wayne had descended like a prince, believing himself untouchable. You know what I learned? I said to Harmony as we walked away. Revenge wasn't the answer, it never is. Then what was? Truth. Simple, unvarnished truth. They spent so much energy hiding it, they forgot how powerful it could be. My phone buzzed with messages from survivors wanting to share their stories. From Therese with foundation plans. From Anthony with updates on other families like ours. The mansion grew smaller behind us as we walked toward my car, toward the future we were building from the ashes of the past. The funny thing is, I said, they thought they were teaching me about power, about control. I smiled at my sister. Instead, they taught me about freedom. Sometimes you have to burn everything down to finally break free. I didn't look back again. The ghosts in that house weren't mine anymore. I had work to do, truth to tell, lives to help rebuild. And somewhere in the city, another survivor was gathering evidence, waiting for someone to believe their truth. This time, they wouldn't wait alone.